Hello there. Well, last week we got a good response from sending out a video of a recap of our Sunday service, so we thought we'd try it again. So I want to begin with what we talked about this last Sunday. This is the third in our series called 2017 Guidelines for a Master, which means you. You indeed are a master, and it takes a lot of discipline in this world. So just a quick recap so far. In our first lesson, we talked about the compare and despair syndrome and how it definitely does take a master with the rest of the world, being not to compare with the rest of the world and to truly claim your uniqueness and who you are. There's only one of a kind. There's only one you on this planet. So cherish and celebrate your uniqueness and to stand firm in knowing, as it says in the Desiderata. I love that poem. No less than the trees and the stars, you have a right to be here, and you certainly do. And then last week we talked about patience. That's when we did the video. So if you haven't seen it, you might want to go to that video. And how we might give up too soon. A lot of times we give up too soon, and that it's just because we can't see our desire doesn't mean that it's not coming into manifestation, which means trusting in the universe that it is unfolding as it should. And if your desire seems like it's taking too long, then it's important to keep in mind that you're not necessarily doing anything wrong. Just be patient, because sometimes people, things, circumstances, events, they need to line up. And sometimes they might need to break down. So if you're going through a breakdown period and you're not sure what's going on, it might just be because the opportunity for your desire is coming into completion. It's coming into your realm of physical reality. And so this isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just means that it will show up when you are in full harmony, when you're in a harmonious match to it. Now, for today's lesson, we need to remember the truth that we talked a little bit about last week, and that is that you are not a physical being in a physical universe. You are an energetic, vibrational being in an energetic, vibrational universe. You are both the transmitter, meaning the spreader of energy, and you are the receiver of energy. And because we live in a vibrational universe, as we all know, where your attention goes, that's where energy goes, right? So this is why it is so vital and it is so important to understand what it means to be a vibrational match with your desire. If you are in vibrational harmony with your desire, it will manifest. It has to. That's the law. That's the way physics works. So it has been said that the most powerful thing in the universe is energy. And if you truly understand how to influence and how to engage and how to direct energy, you will find that you will be very, very mindful as to how you are in the world, which also means, and this is where we're going today, it also means being mindful with your words. Being mindful with your words. It takes a master. It takes a master to rise above the fray and not complain. It takes a master to not engage in discussions of being the victim. It takes a master to rise above the dialogues of doom and gloom. As Jesus said, I am in the world, but I'm not of it. He was in the world, but he wasn't engaged in the fray. He wasn't engaged in the collective unconscious. Therefore, if we live in an energetic universe, and everything is energy, right? Everything's energy. Just take a moment to take that in. The clothes you're wearing, where you're seated, maybe if you're in the car, driving in the car, wherever you are, know that everything is energy. So the question is, what kind of energetic conversations would you want to be connected to? And what kind of energetic conversations have you been connected to? Conversations that make you feel a sense of well-being, or conversations that make you feel doubtful, fearful, miserable? One of the things that the Board of Trustees at Unity of Ventura do, one of the things we do during our meeting, in fact, it's at the beginning of our meeting, is that we have a conversation where we list all of the evidence of good that's going on in our church. It's our conversation of, oh, this is great. This is something good here, and this is something great here. And from that high energetic place, we approach the rest of our conversations in that meeting from a elevated point of view, where we can tap in to a higher guidance system. Trying to have a conversation with another person doing this type of exercise where you're looking for evidence of good in your life and in their lives, well, let me just tell you, your positive words, your positive conversation will empower you both. You will feel a great sense of well-being. You will feel very blessed in your life. One time there was a little boy who was pushing his baby brother in a stroller, and there was this kind woman that came up to him, and she was admiring the little boy, the little baby, and she said, "Now what a handsome little baby boy. Can he talk yet?" And the little boy, his brother, said, "Well, no, his words haven't come in yet, but he's got 2 teeth." I love that story. It's such an innocent and yet very truthful comment, because when his words do come in, he will be faced with the responsibility for taking control of one of the most important functions of human consciousness, the words that we speak. It's amazing how we take our speech for granted. We learn to speak, and for the most part, without conscious effort. And by the time we mature enough to understand those strangely powerful and dire noises coming out as communication, it has become much of a reflex behavior, like breathing. It hardly occurs to us that there's anything to understand about it. We just talk, 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 talk. And we don't always consider what we are saying. We are clueless to the fact that the words that we speak have an impact energetically on how we are affecting the rest of our environment. The Bible continuously tells us the power of our words. In Isaiah 55:11, it says, "My word shall not return to me void, but shall accomplish there whereunto it is sent." We also see that our master teacher, Jesus, he keenly is aware of the power of the word when he says, "Not that which is coming into the mouth doth defileth a man, but that which is coming forth from the mouth, this defileth a man. And I tell you, on this day you will give an account for every careless word you utter." Pretty strong stuff. We need to be aware of the words that we speak and think. So maybe for today, just be aware of the things that you're saying. Be aware of the words in that, are they going in the direction that you want to go? Are they blocking the direction in which you want to go? There's a wonderful metaphysician. Her name is Florence Scovel Shinn, and she was a metaphysician from the 1920s. Really a powerful, powerful woman. Wrote a number of books, one of them being The Game of Life and How to Play It. And one of the things that she said was, every man has the power to lift the fog in his life. It may be the fog of lack, love, happiness, or health. His word is his wand, and he transmutes apparent failure into success through the power of the word. Well, basically, what I like to think of it in this way. It's as if you are at a restaurant, right? And you order something and you fully expect for that order to come exactly the way that you asked for it to come, right? Your words are putting out orders, consciously or unconsciously. If you say something like, I'll never have a great relationship, you just placed an order. If you say, I need to make it to the end of the week, you just placed an order to make it just to the end of the week. If you say, well, at my age, who's going to want to hire me? You just placed an order. If you say, I'm sick and I don't think I'm getting any better, you just placed an order. If you asked, if someone asked you, how are you doing? And you say, oh, I'm surviving, you just placed an order to just survive. Many times we use the power of our words against ourselves, and we don't realize how it is affecting our future. And when you tell the same story, a lot of times we have dramatic stories, right? When you tell the same story over and over again, you are keeping active the vibration to do it again, and then do it again, and then do it again. So be impeccable with your words and look at your words as energy going forth that place orders with the universe. Maya Angelou, she knew this truth. She was such a wise and wonderful woman. And she knew that words trigger energy. And if used correctly, words can lift you to a higher truth. During an interview, she said this. I loved this. She said, words are things, I am convinced. You must be careful about the words that you use or the words that you are allowed to use in your home. She went on to say, in the Old Testament, we are told that in the beginning was the Word, and that the Word was with God, and the Word was God. We must be careful, she went on to say, careful about calling people out of their names, for we are all children of God. Someday we will be able to measure the power of words. And she said, I think they are energy. I think they get into the walls. I think they get into the rugs, into your upholstery, into your clothing, and finding their way into you. You know, it was said of Maya Angelou that if there was someone in her presence, in her home, that was judgmental, that was using negative, argumentative, fault-finding words, she would stop them in mid-sentence. She would put her hand up and she would either invite them to leave the premise or give them the choice to change their language. And she would say, not in my home. You don't. Not in my home. She was a master. She was a master. It takes a master to not engage with what the collective unconscious talks about. And I say collective unconscious because most people are placing unconscious orders. It takes a master to say, not in my presence. You will not be talking like that. Not in my presence. Another master is Louise Hay. One time my mom was having lunch with her and another friend, and my mom and the other friend were chatting about something, and they were going down a very negative path in their conversation. Louise, what she did was she excused herself from the table, and I'm going to paraphrase here for a moment, but she said something like, I will not participate in this conversation. I'm excusing myself. I will be back in 10 minutes, at which time I fully expect for this conversation to get back into a more positive, illuminating path. Luckily, my mom and her friend understood this truth so completely that they knew the power of their words and that they were going in a direction that they really didn't want to go. And so they thanked Louise for the wake-up call. It takes a master. It takes a master when those around you want to participate in something that ultimately doesn't feel joyful, that ultimately does not bring you a sense of well-being. It's not constructive. It's not creative. Words can create undeniable influence in the world. Each one of you here, each one of you who are listening to this video, you know for yourselves that words, they create an energy, how words can expand, right? Or they can crush, they can inspire, or they can disappoint. They can upset, or they can support and encourage, right? We've all been the recipient of words like that, and we've been the distributors of words like that. We all know this. This is a basic unity principle here of being mindful with our energy and how we use our words. But the question is, do we follow and observe that principle on a daily basis? Do you? Do you follow that? Are you mindful with your words on a daily basis? Or are we, for the most part, just unconscious? I would say if you're anything like me, you might become mindless at times, and it's easy to fall back in the way of the world. It's easy to be in the world and of the world. And it's easy to get into the rabbit hole of complaining and being negative and criticizing and being cynical. It's easy to agree with others that are in a negative state. It's easy to get into those negative conversations that are not for your highest well-being. And a good Unity student knows that if they continue to participate in those kinds of conversations and go along with diminishing conversations or statements, then they are exhibiting a form of spiritual laziness. Spiritual laziness. My teacher in ministerial school, Martha Judici, would say, if you continue to use words unwisely, you're just plain lazy. You are opening the door and giving permission for it to come into your life. She had no qualms about telling the truth, and she was so right. That is a basic truth. You're just opening the door, giving it permission to be in your life. Not being mindful with your words is just plain laziness. But the good news is this. You get to change your words. And the good news about being in this way of thinking is you can now be conscious of the unconscious. If you slip up and say, oh, I'm so unlucky, you can change it around and say, no, actually, I'm blessed beyond my wildest dreams. And then you've just opened the door for more blessings to come in. You placed an order with the universe, and you are inviting it into your life. And because of this, your words can become your most significant resource in manifesting the success that you want in your life. I'm sure you are familiar with the book, The Hidden Messages of Water. It's probably, it's an experiment that was done by the late Japanese scientist, Dr. Emoto. And it demonstrates the enormous power of words through photographs of water molecules after being subjected to different words. And personally, I think that this is the most profound demonstration of the energy of words and what they can do. Many of you might remember the photos of water molecules. They looked like crystals. And all he did was he just put words on bottles of water, and words such as love, happiness, thank you, blessings. And he found that those words would create these beautiful crystals, light-filled, magical looking crystals. They were beautiful. And then he also had water bottles that were infused with words like, you make me sick, I hate you, I'm going to kill you. Just really negative vibrational words. And they were ugly, dark, malformed crystals. They looked like rocks. So you could see that they were more dense in their energy. And so if our bodies are made up of 90% water, how must the molecules in our bodies respond to the words that we speak? I have witnessed people changing the molecular structure of their bodies simply by using the power of their words. And that is why Unity wholeheartedly believes in the power of affirmations. Affirmations help you to solidify your intentions and further the direction of your desire. So one of the things that we did on Sunday was I have something that I call blissciplines. Blissciplines are affirmations that put you in a state of bliss, if you will, and it takes a discipline to use your words wisely every single day. So you're going to find on this website, I'm going to post some of the blissciplines that we used on Sunday and use them every day. I've already heard some really great stories from some of you and how these blissciplines have really worked wonders in your life. So with that, I say thank you. Thank you for taking the time to listen to our video today. Hopefully you will join us on Sunday at the Rubicon Theater, 10 o'clock. That's 1006 East Main Street in Ventura. I hope to see you there. God bless you and thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.